police department and the sheriff's department and all these other little small law enforcement agencies in the county or the highway patrol go into Mr. Franklin's office and say, this is what I've got, this is the ticket. You don't see rampant dismissals. You don't see people with pages on their rap sheet of dismissed, 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 ad infinitum. Mr. Franklin is there for you. And I'll tell you one of the most important things. Now we'll get to the part with the connection between Mr. Franklin and myself. My job every day is to run the city. That's kind of axiomatic. But what's really important is that every day I have to deal with these 180-some people, and I have to deal with them face-to-face, him, her. We have to get these things done, and what is our plan, and why are we going to make the city move forward, and how are we going to do that? And these people in the fire department, the other day I told council at a council meeting, I felt that they should come up with a plan for the city. Where should we be 3 years from now, 5 years from now, and 10 years from now? I spent 43 years in the private industry, making companies I worked for a lot of money. And every one of those companies, the 4 companies that I worked for in my career, not including the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover had his own plan. He didn't have to talk to me about it. But the companies I worked for had battle plans. Where were they going to go and what they were going to do? And one of the council members said, well, don't all the departments have a plan? Well, yeah, they have a plan. They know when a garbage truck wears out. They know when a police car wears out. They know all the things that wear out. So they plan ahead for that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how we're going to plan for the city so that we have more jobs over here, so that we can brighten Main Street, so we can brighten Bridge Street, so we can stop worrying the way Mrs. McFarland does, and I do every day, about how long that damn lift bridge is going to be up. And in case any of you don't know, it's going to be up till the 2nd week of December if all goes well and the creek don't rise. So we lost a lot of time during the summer because it was wet and they couldn't paint it. Then they pulled the bearings out of the hinges and the bearings were shot and they had to go off to 5 states away to be rebuilt. Those bearings were put in that bridge in 1912. No one's touched them since then. So the best news right now is the 2nd week of December. And so the merchants on Bridge Street are saying, oh my God, what am I going to do? That's the Christmas season. So there are a lot of people besides you who are in a world of hurt like I am when you go to the fuel station and you fill your car up and it costs you 60 bucks. So those are the people that when I came here 3 years ago, we had 48 empty storefronts on Main Avenue from Route 20 to West 58th Street. We have put 7 new stores in. 7. They're little. They're starting off small. But people like Alicia McFarland work with these people every day. If all goes well and the creek don't rise, she's going to sell the first piece of ground in the light industrial park at the end of round 11. That park took 10 years to come together. And it was put together by the Port Authority. Virtually no one from the city did anything. The Port Authority put that thing together. It's 50 acres. When you take the utilities out, when you take the road out, I think Mrs. McFarland's got to work with like 36 acres. We have the first sale there. And there's a company coming in, and they're going to be, they have a business here and a business in the township. They're going to combine them, and we're going to put them together, and they're going to hire 8 new people. 8 new people may not sound like a hell of a lot when you got 20,362, but it's 8 more than we had yesterday. And the biggest problem we have now is the city's going through the budget process right now. And every day, people such as myself and Mary Elliott and Brenda Sanders who work in my office, we're going down through those numbers again and again. And where can we take money out? And where are we going to find the money? But folks, the money's not there. The township, the money that we get from the state is, you know what the state's condition is. And one of the biggest problems we have, and I'm going to disabuse you of the idea, anybody who leaves this meeting saying, we're going to solve the problem with grants, it ain't going to happen. The grants are drying up because the federal government doesn't have the money and the state government doesn't have the money, so they're not real keen about giving you what they don't have. So we've got to go out and find that money. And that money is what is going to make the place run correctly. So if I have to spend my day writing a 65-page memorandum regarding how I didn't give somebody on the east side a free ride, I've wasted a whole day. And Mr. Franklin is wasting his time. We don't need that anymore. And now, my last comment. You know, the city of Ashtabula council operates through two means. One's called an ordinance and one's called a resolution. It's a piece of paper. An ordinance is like a statute that would be in the state government or the federal government. It's a law. Strange that they seem to put it all together, it's a law. Well, Mr. Franklin and I, every day, we're meeting somewhere in that code book, which is 4.5 inches thick, and it's in a green leather binder. It's this thick. And those are all the ordinances that control what we do. And he and I meet in that book. It's a euphemism, folks. We're both too big to get in this book. We meet in that book every day, sometimes 3 and 4 times. And you know what we're finding? The ordinances are screwed up. We have a historic review board in the harbor. It doesn't exist. The people who sit on it, they think it exists, but it doesn't exist. And if anybody quits that board, there's no one in the city who has the power to appoint anybody. Nobody. Not me, not council, not him, not you. We have other ordinances in the city that are screwed up, that aren't correct. The English is bad. They're convoluted, they're involuted. They don't go from one clause to the next to make sense. And right now, he and I are working on our 6th one, which is, we have a lot of them that have just little problems. We have 6 now that are disasters, absolute disasters. And they've opened us up to real big problems. So what you may think, Mr. Franklin spends his whole day in court. Now that he has an assistant, after he had to wait nearly 5 months to get that, because we didn't have the money. So if you think Mr. Franklin is just in court every day, standing in front of Judge Camp Police, making his argument, he's not. He spends a hell of a lot of time with me, going through an ordinance, saying to me, and I'm saying to him, how are we going to rectify this? And we're dealing with 7 people who we have to walk this through to them and say, here's the problem, this is how we think we should settle it, solve it. And their comment is, well, we really can't be bothered with this. What, you just go do it. And so we go do it, and then we come back to do it. We're wasting a huge amount of time doing this. So Mr. Franklin and myself and the small coterie around me in the city, and then those other 80 employees, we every day spend our time and our energy trying to figure out how we're going to make it better. And I know that there are a lot of you who are very concerned about it, because I get those little ping dog, and my neighbor's not getting rid of his trash and all those things. Those calls I need to take from you. But what's most important is the people you got to call on the council people and say, I'm tired of it.